morning, you guys. So full disclosure, this is going to be a little bit of a chaotic vlog. I am in the car, but I'm sticking to my consistency goals, and I figured this would be a great day to take you guys along for a day in the life with me. In one of my previous videos, somebody mentioned that they would be interested in learning a little bit more about like my life as like somebody who does pole dance as a hobby, and I'm now transitioning into being an instructor. So I figured I would take you guys along with me on a super busy day where I've got classes to teach, rehearsals of my own to do. So normally I do teach on Saturdays, and it's a pretty simple choreography class along with like an open studio class that I just oversee. I'm running late today, so I had to go get coffee, lunch, and breakfast along with a protein drink, hoping that'll give me a little bit of energy to get through everything I have going on. So right now I'm just gonna throw all of my random nonsense in the bag and get set up, and I will probably have to check in with you guys after class today. So I will see you in a couple of hours.
Many hours later.
Whew. All right, you guys. So that was a really long day. Nice day, but I had to practice with my group after my 2 classes, and I also had to run a couple of reps of my own routine. So my solo is still not finished, but I do feel like I'm a lot closer to what I think I'm gonna wind up doing for the show. So tomorrow, Monday, and Tuesday, I'll have plenty of time to run through it before dress rehearsal. So that is fantastic. But yep, now we are home sweet home. And I am going to call it a day. I think I'm gonna just chill out for the rest of today, and maybe get up early and reward myself with some pool time tomorrow. But I will check back in with you guys tomorrow, and we will do a little Q&A about my sort of like fitness journey, as well as just some things about, you know, pole dancing and what that experience has been like for me. So I will see you in a bit. So yeah, as promised, it is the next day. Let's have a little chat about my fitness journey, where I'm at, pole dance, all the things. Now, 2 quick things before I get started. This video is going to very lightly discuss things like fitness, dieting, diet culture, body image, fat phobia, and things of that genre. So if that is something that is triggering to you, then I definitely recommend, skipping past it. The second disclaimer is that while I am not a professional dancer in the sense that I have never worked like in a strip club or kind of engaged in any of those spaces, this is absolutely a safe and pro SW space. Those women deserve rights and respect just like any other profession, and particularly the girls who work as professional strippers have been the reason that pole dance has gained popularity. They're the reason that the field has innovated the way it has. They're the reason why pole dance is considered a form of fitness and a sport. So they have my utmost support and respect, and any disrespectful commentary towards them will absolutely be deleted and get you removed from this page in a heartbeat. Also, another disclaimer, this is not intended to be any sort of personal, medical, fitness, nutrition advice at any capacity. This is just me speaking on my experience with pole dance and my reaction to some of the questions and comments I get from people who are interested in the space. But definitely consult with your personal fitness and medical team before you enter any sort of fitness workout regimen, especially as something that can be a bit more intense, like any sort of aerial fitness. So with that being said, let's talk about my experience with pole dance, specifically from my perspective as somebody who has always engaged with the space as a plus size dancer, and gone through, weight gain, weight loss, all still within that sort of genre of participant. So let's take a ride in our time machine back to 2019. I was working full-time while also being enrolled full-time in a graduate program, which I do not recommend, and my schedule was really jam-packed. So I think the toll of just having to go all the time with nothing in my schedule really for myself or for fun, all of that was really kind of weighing down on me. So I had Googled Zumba classes in my area because that was the type of fitness that I like to do sometimes, back when I was living in the Northeast. And there was a fitness studio that was offering those classes in addition with chair dance, floor, and pole classes. So I was a little daunted by, entering the space in a pole class, but I was like, Zumba I've done before. Let me go ahead and take the class. I take the class, had a fantastic time, and the gym happened to be running a special, a new client introductory program. And so I figured, why not? I've got, an hour or two, 1 or 2 days a week. If I hate pole dance, then, it's just a funny story that I can tell and say oh, I tried it. I did it for a little while. And if I, love it, it's a great way for me to start moving my body, get away from behind the desk, and just kind of do something for myself. And oh my gosh, almost 6 and some change years later, here we are. A question that I feel like I get a lot online, and oftentimes even just from people in my real life, is, was I scared or was I nervous to take my first pole class? And honestly, I can't remember. It's been so long, but because I can't remember, I'm leaning towards no. I tend to be kind of a do it for the plot kind of girl anyway. So, obviously as long as it's a safe environment, it really doesn't take a lot of convincing to get me to try something like this at least once. I think the bigger surprise to me in this whole situation was the fact that I, have stuck with it and plan to stick with this for so long, and also just came to love it the way that I do. I think that there are preconceived notions that a lot of people, myself included, have when they start, that you need to be a strong dancer, you need to have a ton of upper body strength, you need to be in good shape before you can try or start something like this. And I think a lot of that is just because of sort of the mold and the model you see when you think about a pole dancer, be it somebody who works in a club, or just when you're looking at pole dance fitness spaces, gyms, aerial fitness gyms in your area. There is sort of a very specific look and a body type that is associated with that space. But I'm really thankful for just the pole dance community in general, but specifically the girls at my home studio, just always making me feel welcome, always feeling included. There's always a wide range of experiences and body types at the studio that I go to and now teach at. And it's been a really great experience. And I think it's really important for people to know that there is opportunity and access to fitness in all arenas, including pole dance and aerial fitness. Now, with all of that being laid out on the table, there are definitely a few things that I wouldn't necessarily call cons, but I sort of maybe just wish I would have been a bit more aware of them earlier on in my journey, so I could have been a bit nicer to myself in the long run and like not been as hard on myself. Everybody's anatomy is completely different. And it's really easy to sort of see one kind of body type and assume that like if I don't have this particular body type and I'm struggling with this particular skill, this particular, area, I'm never going to get there because I don't fit this body type. And I think the more realistic way to sort of frame that is that everybody's anatomy is completely different. And so because of that, certain things are going to come easy to folks in certain areas. And as a plus size dancer, there are certain things that are going to be a bit easier or more intuitive for you because of your anatomy. Pole dance involves a lot of like contact with your skin to the pole, and the more surface area you have, the easier it is going to be for you to sort of get into those moves and feel secure in them. So anything that deals with like thigh grip and things like that, because I got bigger, thicker thighs, those moves tend to come very naturally to me. They come very easily to me. There are certain tricks with lifting your body up, so like inverting, sometimes climbing, because I am in a bigger body and my center of gravity is a bit different and honestly a little bit heavier. Those skills took me a lot longer to develop than some of the people that I started with who, again, have a different anatomy than I do. I'm really, really grateful for the studio space that I started my pole journey in, because I think they were very, very good about driving that home and also making sure that there was pathways and entry points and skills for all of us to work on to achieve all of our goals, and also to feel that we had strengths and weaknesses, somewhere, so we could sort of, had a place in the skills that we were trying to build where we felt like we fit and that we were shining. And I'm new to the teaching space, but that is definitely something that I am trying to carry into the classroom spaces that I'm curating. I want everyone to feel like there is something that they can do, something that they're doing well, and also feel like they're being given the tools to improve in the areas that they want to see growth in. And if you're really interested in the space, if it's something you can see yourself really getting into, the best advice I was ever given, that I could ever give, is to take classes with lots of different instructors. Everybody has a different teaching style. Everybody has different professional experience and personal experiences and ways of explaining things that may resonate for you. So you never know who's gonna, connect with you. You never know who's gonna give you that light bulb moment. And you may really find your thing. There are certain instructors who I think really shine in teaching like about flexibility and movement of the body in that way. There are certain instructors who are fantastic dancers and choreographers and make routines that you just think about for like months and months and months after you do them. There are certain instructors who teach phenomenal tricks and who are super strong and athletic and can teach you how to condition and work towards being able to do those same things yourselves. So you just have to really figure out what your goals are. For most folks, it's a combination of all those things, and find the professionals that are going to help you get there. And I won't linger here too much, but like the community aspect of it is also really fantastic. I think a lot of people feel community and find friends in adulthood in spaces like the gym or like going to yoga or Pilates. And pole dance is no different. That space has absolutely been that for me. I have made some close friends that I will likely have for the rest of my life, and just really got to connect with a lot of cool, interesting people that I don't think I ever would have met had I not entered the space. Other questions or comments that I get from people sometimes who want to learn more or who are a little bit nervous about it is, definitely like we talked about, what if I'm the only person of a body type or that looks like me in my class? I also get the question of like, well, what if I fall? You might. I fall, it happens. There's definitely a way to do so safely, and your facility will either give you the equipment or the instructions on how to do so to make sure you don't, severely injure yourself. But I mean, think about like when you were learning to ride a bike as a kid, like you fell off a few times. There's no way to learn how to ride a bike without falling over. And so work past that fear and only really go into movements if you're comfortable will help with that. And there's always somebody around to give you a spot. But for anybody who's looking to get started, I think it would be really cool to just start with looking up studios in your area. For me, taking my first class in person was the best. I think there's sort of, a hands-on component, a face-to-face component that's really valuable. But I'm a lazy girl, so the in-person environment definitely holds me a bit more accountable and also makes me feel a bit safer if, anything were to go awry. But yeah, guys, that is going to do it for today's video. A little bit more of an off-the-cuff, off-the-dome sort of chit-chat/vlog video, but I got that question about my pole dance journey, and I know you guys see it in the background of like all of my chit-chat videos. So I figured it was just a great time to address the elephant in the room. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you later on this week. Bye.